Good morning, geometry students. This is Mrs. Shopper coming to you with your first lesson of the year. It's going to be a review. We're going to spend some time these first couple weeks really reviewing the algebra that you did last year. We all know that in the spring things were a little crazy, so we want to make sure we're kind of grounded in the algebra. Why, if this is a geometry class, do we need to do that? Because you are going to use more algebra this year than you can imagine. We're going to use factoring, we're going to be doing quadratics, we're going to be writing equations of lines, we're going to be solving systems and solving systems and solving systems. So we're going to incorporate that algebra into our course this year. So we think it's important to spend some time reviewing. You should have the algebra review packet. If you are a DLA student, if you are a hybrid student, you will be getting that copy for you to fill out. So some of the topics we're going to talk about, and I know it's hard to see with the coloring, multiplying polynomials, that's what we're going to start with today, factoring quadratics, solving quadratics, completing the square. I've heard that you didn't talk about completing the square, so we're going to spend a little more time on that one, and then solving systems of equations. So let's get started right away. All right, FOIL. You used FOIL last year. First, outer, inner, last. We use that to multiply two binomials together. Here's a nice chart of how it looks. You can pause it, you can look at it, admire it. All right, I'm going to put it into action. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write FOIL to remind me, first, outer, inner, last. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the first term in each binomial. Bi means two, nomial numbers, two numbers. So I've got a binomial and a binomial, the first, so x times x. Outer, I'm going to multiply the outer two terms. That's going to be x and negative 4. You might say, well, it's minus 4. We could add up and get negative 4. I is inner. That's 3 and the x. It's the inner two terms, 3 times x. And then L is last. We're going to take 3 times negative 4. All right? Now, do you see the smiley face here? This is the coolest thing. Here's the mouth, here are the eyes, here's the chin, some hair, the ears. Okay, have some fun with that, right? All right, what do we do with all of this once it's there? What we're going to do is multiply them out. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. These two terms can be combined, and so we end up with x squared minus x minus 12. When we multiply those two binomials, this is the product. Second one over here, let's do the same thing. First, outer, inner, last. First times first, 5a times 3a. Outer, the outer two, 5a times negative 4. Inner, 2 times 3a. Last, 2 times negative 4. We find the product of each of these. So we have 15a squared. We have negative 20a. We have 6a, and we have negative 8. And those can be combined. So we end up with 15a squared minus 14a minus 8. That's using the FOIL method. Now, you can also use a distributive property method. This is taking a polynomial by a trinomial. Poly, again, meaning 2, tri meaning 3. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 4b squared by both of those. So 4b squared times 3b, 4b squared times 2. And then I'm going to multiply 5b by 3b and 5b by 2. So 5b times 3b, 5b times 2. And then I'm going to do the last term, the negative 5 times 3b and the negative 5 times 2. Negative 5 times 3b, negative 5 times 2. I'm going to figure out all those products and combine my like terms. So I've got 12b cubed, I have 8b squared, 15b squared, 10b, negative 15b, and negative 10. Okay, multiplying all those out. So my final answer will be 12b cubed. Combine these two, plus 23b squared. Combine these two, negative 5b, and then minus 10. Okay, so it's much like the distributive property. Okay, I'm going to go through this one just really quickly here. We're going to multiply out. 2y squared times y squared is 2y cubed. 2y squared times 7y is 14y squared. And 2y times negative 6 is negative 12y. Right here I've got negative 5 times y squared is negative 5y squared. Negative 5 times 7y is negative 35y. And negative 5 times negative 6 is 30. Now this is another way to do the same type of problem. Does it make one better than the other? No. You pick what works for you and you go with that strategy. One of the things you're going to realize as we go through this year is that I really want you to develop the understanding of the math. I'm not going to give you a straight algorithm and say, hey, do this. Because mimicking what I do, that's not super challenging. But creating your own understanding, now that's where the learning happens. So here we go. 2y cubed plus 9y squared minus 47y plus 30. You pick the strategy, all right? One more. I know I didn't want the videos more than 7 minutes. I'm hitting 7 minutes now. We're just going to quick get this done. Multiplying, when you see a squared quantity, you have to do this step. You can't skip this step, okay? Do this step. It's going to be 5b minus 7 times 5b minus 7. Write it twice. Because when you FOIL it, 5b times 5b is 25b squared. 5b times negative 7 is negative 35b. Negative 7 times 5b, negative 35b. Negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. That gets you 25b squared, combine those, minus 70b plus 49. That is different than if you just square each quantity. So you do have to write them both out and make sure that you solve it that way, multiply it that way. So 9y minus 1, 9y minus 1. Okay, so first 81y squared, outer negative 9y, inner negative 9y, last is 1. 81y squared plus or minus 18y plus 1. That is multiplying polynomials.